So hello, and thank you to Kate and Simon and Bill to invite me. I'm very glad to be here and try to exchange a little bit of my experience with heritage, culture, and nature. So I run a place in south of France, a creation center for art in public spaces, and also a festival which is called Envies Rhônements, and which is a biennale, and last edition was last year, and it took place within Marseille Cultural Capital. So it takes place in Camargue, where the flamingos live. So you can see the place. This is a place. This is a citron jaune. Jaune is yellow, so you can say it's yellow. So I've been asked a few questions. So I'll try to illustrate the questions with example and experience in the festival. So the festival started 15 years ago, and as I've already told you, it's in the Camargue. First, I have to present you the territory, because the territory is very important. And the big, supposed to be pink circle is the city of Arles. And then you can see the two arms of the river Rhône. The bigger one goes down to Port Saint-Louis-du-Rhône, which is a small city where is the citron jaune. And the other arm goes the other side. And in between, this is the delta, and this is the Camargue. And the Camargue is, as you may know, wetland. And it's a very important territory, because also it carries a lot of phantasm and fantasy and stereotypes. And it's also a very good place for our topic, because in Camargue, natural heritage and cultural heritage are closely linked. For example, the landscapes is a result of human actions, such as water control. So we do control all the water. You can put water or not water. Nivel with pumps. And also the flamingos, for instance, they depend on the salt agriculture, because they eat a little shrimp which live in salted water. And also a few years ago, the researchers have built housing for flamingos. So now we have a lot of flamingos, because they dwell here, they nest, they stay. They don't go anymore to Africa for the winter time. So that was the second question. Can we bring together professionals from heritage organization together with outdoor arts? So I will tell you how we met our partners. This is our main partners. So you can see the same map, and the yellow spots are the places where the partners are. The first two partners were Marais du Viguera and Domaine de la Palissade. So they're part of the Conservatoire du Littoral, a coastal conservatory. Can you say that? And it's a state agency which is in charge of buying coastline lands to prevent it from urbanization. And then you have Bois François, which is a small wood, just belong to the city of Port Saint-Louis. And Domaine du Château d'Avignon, it's a county estate, natural and cultural, with a sort of a castle on it. And then Tour du Valat is a private foundation with lots of scientists, researchers. And then we have two museums. One is a archaeological museum, Arles Antique, that deal with mainly with the Roman period. And they do, there's lots of Roman buildings in Arles and also in the bottom of the river. And another museum, which is an ethnological museum. And we have from time to time, we have other partners, like there's a ferry crossing the river. So we also did something on the ferry once. So I will show you some pictures of the places, sites of the partners. This is Marais du Viguera. This too. So you can see a lot of marshes. This is a path to walk along for visitors. And this is a Domaine de la Palissade on the banks of the river. This is an installation in Domaine de la Palissade by a Scottish artist. Another installation, and this is a view of the Domaine de la Palissade, the sea, and you can see there's lots of wetlands, marshes. This is Bois François, and same place with a performance. And this is a museum. It's a very, very big, very important museum in Arles. Again, the museum. And this is the Château d'Avignon. This is the castle, and there's a very, very big park around. And this is another question. How do I work with partners from heritage and environment? What you can see on the picture, it's an installation, and it's a work that we did with the Ethnological Museum, because in 2003 in Arles, there was a huge flood that flooded a whole area in the city. And in the museum, they did interviews of people when they've been flooded. And so last year, it was the 10-year anniversary, so we decided to do something about the flood. And we used the interviews, and we commissioned a sound designer to do sound pieces with extracts from the interviews, and then a scenographer to make it all work. So what you can see, there's the chairs, then you have headphones, so you can listen to the pieces, and then you had pictures, installation of photos of the flood. I've put also small booklets. You can see more pictures of this flood. At the beginning, the idea was to rely on the reality of the territory, because on this territory, natural heritage is strong, and there is a lot. Plenty of sites dedicated to nature preservation or nature study. And our partner, we met them one by one. So first we met the partner for the Conservatory of Littoral, then the others. And at the beginning, we were working all together. And it was very exciting, as all the people, they were not used to work together, although they were in the same fields. So everybody was very excited to think about the festival, how to do it, what themes that we could talk about. Together we wrote a charter of aims. But then after a while, it was not so easy to work all together in that way, because the different partners, in fact, have different goals. So now we're more in a bilateral relationship. And at the end, we run the festival, and we have to find the right relation with each of our partners. And now also in France, there's a money problem, because everybody has less money. So the trend is to go back to the art of our mission. But still, heritage is becoming something very important. For instance, Heritage Days, European Heritage Days, which is this weekend, is very, very popular in France, thousands of people. And people are really getting more and more interested in understanding where they live, the history of the place and that kind of thing. So we have audiences. And then how do I work with artists? So we, mainly in the festival, we are based on artistic residency and site-specific creation, because artistic residency is one of the main missions of the Citron Jaune as a creative center. The residencies, some of them, they take place in the very place, in the sites. Some sites have the possibility to house artists, so they are staying on the site. And also, it's important that they stay there for a long time, because they have to feel the place, to be aware of the place. And also, nature in Camargue sometimes is quite violent, and it takes time to tame it. And also, it's important that the artists, they meet the people that are running this natural sites. So it takes time. So I will show you a few examples of residencies that we have done. This is a residency of a company named Le Fun, with a project, Les Feuillus. Les Feuillus, it's a population of sculpture, men's sculpture, anthropomorphic sculpture made out of leaves. And there's a whole bunch of them, about 100. And it lasted 1 year and a half. And first they appeared in the middle of a marsh. And then they slightly moved up to the village. So you could see them do things, or the people living there, they were imagining what this new population, many things about this new population. And also we did it. It was a year of biodiversity. So it's like a new species that appear. So very important because so many disappear. Because this residency, we did it with this foundation, Tour du Valat, which is a very important place because it's where the Wetland International Convention started, because it's an international spot. With you can see these leaf sculptures. And at the end, there is a performance, sort of a walk, and with encounter with these new spaces, and the actors, they were playing scientists because they have been in residency in that place, so they get inspired by all the scientists they've met. So this is another residency with dance, and a choreographer that he works with birds, but tame birds. So it was a big affair to have all these tame birds with the wild birds. So they had to build cages to protect the tame bird from the wild birds. So it was sort of a walk from one spot to another. And this is another project, very nice. It's a sound designer, so he went in this place for several periods of times, and he recorded the sounds of the place, sounds of birds, but other sounds too. So different sounds because different moment. And at the end, he made a symphony with all these sounds and all these loudspeakers. So you have to stand in the middle of this loudspeaker to hear the symphony. And this is Nixter with Dutch, and I met him in Oerol. I will tell you a small story about him. He builds ephemeral sculpture by balancing stones. And he went to a technical visit of the site in, I think in January or February. And when I saw the site, he said, I want to be in the marshes, in the water, and I will build sculpture in the water. Then when he came back in July, he found that there were many mosquitoes when you are in the water. So after one day, he said, please, can you find me an inside place? So I didn't say anything. I said, yes, we will, don't worry. But then, as he was there for several days, he began to get used to the mosquitoes. So at the end, he decided to go again in the marsh, in the water. So he did it in the water. So that's why it takes time. Different type of residencies that we do have. I will just show you more pictures. This is Baudra, how do you say? Nice sheets. But in France, there's a play on the word. In fact, it means mess in France. Baudra, you are in a mess. But it's also beautiful sheets. And these are empty cupboards. So it's empty cupboards, so you can put your imagination, or you can put whatever you want in, or just let the landscape go through. And this is an Argentine artist that's been working a lot about changing of climate. So these are empty houses because the silent city, all the people have gone and the place is overflooded. Only birds live now. Same artist, it's all Gone with the Wind. it has been built with children, a workshop with children. Another work on the flood is a water screen, and the screen comes from the river itself. And we had made special movies to be projected on the screen. So there you can see Arles arenas being overflooded and then again coming out of the water. And also that there were been interview of people, and then the people they were on the screen, really the inhabitants of the river. So that different disciplines, because it's very multidisciplinary discipline. Another artist that works with balance in a different way, because she uses what she finds on the place. So these are concrete stones that have been put to protect the bank of the river. It's called the watchers. But it's very fragile balance, so if there's a little wind, it just it's fall down. But after a while, the people, they come and they try to help her to rebalance. Dance. This was a workshop, the workshop project with the head in the ground. This is just research, and the companies, they live on the beach for a while, because the beach is one of the last place for wild camp in Europe. It's going to stop soon, but it still works. In the summer, it's an amazing place with thousands of caravans, and because it's a huge, huge beach. Another research and so workshop. Something else about the consumer. There's lots of performance that where the audience, they walk, and they walk from one scene to another scene. And this about birds, and it was done when you had the Asian bird flu. So we thought that we will have to kill all the wild birds and replace them by actors. The audience had mirror, and then they project the sun on small solar cells, which are on the actor, and then it moves. Wings. It was the wings. This is a photography. It's one of our last residency. Several photography in the landscape, like being it's a dancer, and she put a bed in very different landscapes. The question, I don't know if we've seen this question, relationship with professional from heritage world. This was another question. The professional from nature preservation have two different attitudes towards nature. Some things that nature has to be completely preserved apart from human beings, and other things that we have to find a new relationship, a new dialogue in between nature and man. And of course, we do work with these. And but still they have a quite tight framework, and especially people from natural heritage, they have to put limits what can be done or not in nature, what is appropriate or not, and but put limits, and at the same time they are very excited to transgress a little these limits to see what that the human also has to disturb a little bit, they think. So we are here to disturb a little bit within certain limits. I will also give you an example with a French company that Kees knows very well, which is Tricyclic Doll, and they do a walk in nature, which is called Contre Nature, and you go from a spot to another, and you have to look for strange things happening, like I don't know, flying rabbits, or a tree dancing, or flowers growing very quick, so in 10 seconds, flowers appear and then disappear. And so they came also in the winter time to have a technical visit. So they began to trace a trail, but the trail was going through a place where maybe heron will nest. So we had to wait until spring to know whether herons will be nesting there or not, to know if we could use this trail. So it's really a relation of cooperation. I think more in nature than in urban space, where in urban space it's more like you go sometimes fighting, like fighting with the police, for instance, I don't know. So also to facilitate the relation, we have what we call catalyst elements, such as themes, because themes that can be invested by different people, artists, heritage people. So we all together we think of themes. So we did have quite a lot of themes. One theme for each edition. So these are the themes, not translated, but consuming, balance and balance, seduction, risk. We have to cultivate our garden, visible, invisible, doubt, change of climate, flood, well. And night hike, it's also something very important. It's all night long, and it's several kilometers, and it's really an extreme moment. So there you can see, for instance, one of our last night hike. This one had our banquet in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere. And this is another device. We do couples with an artist and a scientist working on a theme, working on a place, and then they have to present performances, whatever they want, but usually it's small, sort of 10 or 15 minutes that they will do several times. This was very nice because he decided to take his desk in the tree with her, and then he was throwing all the paper. Another one. And this is the last one we did this summer with an archaeologist and a juggler. And the archaeologist she's a diver. She dives in the Rhône to find pieces of shipwreck that will go into the Blue Museum. So they work, well, several times and a whole week together. And the archaeologist at the beginning was talking of what she was doing as an archaeologist, and then slightly she was removing all the equipment and dancing together in this tube full of water. It was really very impressive. Another installation, anamorphosis. So when you are in a very precise point, you could see a perfect circle, and it's branches of a tree taken on the place and just painted white. And that was from a call for project. And call for project is very nice because it involves many people. So, and also involves the people of the place that are part of they do choose the artist with us. So as they have chosen the artist, so the relationship is narrow. First, I was wondering what can be considered as heritage, because now we have also intangible heritage, such as songs, customs, ceremonies. So I think the notion of heritage is widening, and like it's not only patrimony, but also matrimony. And that UNESCO label more and more, and we are all labeled. Very soon the whole world will be heritage, no? We have industrial heritage. Those last 10 years in France, many heritage sites and organizations have begun to work with living arts a lot. Museum too, the new museums, they have a theater inside. So it's really becoming a habit. So it's quite good. It's mostly small forms and quite often considered as a added value or a way to find new public. But still, in France, state and local institutions are still partitioned. So you have the heritage department and then the living arts. So it's at this level, it's not so easy to work together. But among the artists, the movement of working transversally is very strong. And also I'm just part of a school in Marseille that Kes always knows also, which is called FEA. It's a school university level for art in public spaces. And in this school, you learn all disciplines, but you also have courses in sociology, urbanism, and it works on concepts. For instance, concept of verticality. So verticality, you have the dance, but you have circus, and you have also the city. So it's how it works. So it's very exciting. It's European school. There are students from all over. So I will just finish with a project that we did to illustrate also this question. Also, it's further than working with heritage because I was working with agriculture. But in Camargue, it is a place where we have rice field. So maybe rice field, for a long time we have had rice field in Camargue, and a lot. So maybe it's, considering the landscape, maybe it's sort of heritage because it's a very special landscape with water in the spring, and it's like. Last year we did this project. Tambo art, it comes from Japan. And in Japan, they say it's a tradition, but it's a tradition that started 30 years ago. And it's not really, in Japan, it's not really artistic because they do designs as a challenge, and they want to make every year more complicated designs. And also, it's a challenge to grow rice with leaves of so many different colors. I think now they are having 7 different colors. So we started last year, but we commissioned an artist for the drawing, for the design, and then we decided to have a ceremony for the planting and for the harvesting, because in France we don't plant rice anymore. We sow rice. So this is the design at the end. It appeared at the end. So in fact, we had 4 different colors, but in reality, you see mainly 2. So it represents a bull with the children. So this is a ceremony for planting. And this is people planting. And this is a ceremony for harvesting. Okay. And this is a charter that but it's not translated, that we have all together. So thank you.